and love. There was like a little period there. It was tough to function, even coming back here. But seeing men like you, it's just cool, man. I'm really proud of who you are and what you represent, and it's cool to be in your house, brother.
Man, I didn't know we were going to start with me crying.
Yeah, well,
like right
it
off
is
the
what
bat.
it is.
Like it means a lot hearing you say that, because you've been here in the mean streets. You know this life, and it's incredibly vindicating. You know, I tell people New York City is like the Vietnam of church planting.
So
because
true.
you see so many of your fallen brothers. And so I who's that guy from Forrest Gump, Captain Dan?
Yeah, Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
I tell, because I'm like, I'm not that good. I'm Lieutenant Dan. Like, I'm the dude that's like, I'm missing an eye, my limbs, and I just wheeled myself out for this interview because what I do say is I got that cockroach anointing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Can't
you could
kill
drop
me.
in a nuke. You kind of got that on you.
Yeah.
Or zombie mode, I call it, where it's like, you can't kill me a second time, I'm already dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we kind of...
One of my friends who's not a Christian, who I love, he was like, you're like, kind of like a cockroach. And I'm like, do you want to fish for another metaphor, my brother? He's like, you know what I mean, like a phoenix. I'm like, let's go with phoenix. Like, I know what you're about to say, but yeah, it's just a little hit a nerve. Yeah, it's so funny.
I just own
to
it,
kill.
man. Well, you know what? It's like this guy, Jonathan Cahn, I was reading one of his books, and this is a mind-blowing revelation. He was talking about how Satan was referred to as a serpent in the Genesis, and then a dragon in Revelation, which is cold-blooded, like reptilian. And then obviously Christ being the lion or the lamb, which is warm-blooded.
Yeah.
And the whole revelation was cold-blooded, you're fast, but you don't have endurance. And then warm-blooded is for the long, like you're an endurance creature.
I love that.
And so I feel like, for us, the warm-blooded individuals, we're just still here.
Yeah.
We're still rocking. And so for you to show up, for you to be here, as a matter of fact, it's kind of serendipitous. I think I'll at least mention this.
Yeah.
I just hit 1 million subscribers.
Come on, somebody.
And the whole thing was like, man, when we hit 1 million, I'm going to have Carl come. And I love this idea of dancing on the graveyard.
Yeah.
And it was like, and I had in my mind this triumphant thing where I'm like, New York City church planter with New York City church planter.
Yeah.
Carl comes back to New York City and I hit 1 million subs. And dude, you can't make this up.
Can you grab your thing?
Yeah, here, maybe Evan. We're gonna flex it. Is this a soft flex?
I don't even think we can color this with a flex. I like to look at it as, what a great thing. This is incredible. Talk about it.
Well, can we pawn it?
That's what I want to know.
Is this real gold?
One thing I love about being out of a little bit of the church mix is the fake humility that people don't use in the world.
Rebuke me, apostle.
No. You can. It's actually a pretty incredible thing to invade a space that's filled with so much stuff that's not helping people. Yeah. And you went in there with the really simple message, brother, and God's really blessed it. So it's awesome to see.
Yeah.
Apologize for nothing.
Well, and thank
amazing.
you for that. Thank you for that, because you can't fake your way to this.
No.
And the thing is, like, people know they know. So long story short, this is where this becomes like a movie moment, this to me, right? I come out here, I start the church with 18 people. We launched 7 campuses a decade later. And then the whole joke was, I'm going to hit 1 million subscribers and then Carl's going to come, whatever. So then my assistant, so you're on the way, right? So you're coming. And then my assistant sends me a message saying, you'll never believe this. Your gold play button tracking information just came in and it's literally getting delivered today. So like you and the button showed up at the same time.
Let's go. I mean,
so it's just one of those weird things.
It's a staple of kind of what God's doing with you. I also say this to the millions of people that watch. So you are, I think the young people still say a real one. When you make decisions that are hard and you fall, some people don't stick around. And we've known each other for years from different angles, but you didn't abandon the field, and I think that's really special. And I just want to, for the people that do follow you and trust you and love you, as a former minister that broke people's trust, it's cool to be able to always point to people who say, you're a man of integrity, and I think it's really special. But that's who this guy is. He's not the guy who talks and then doesn't show. You've always been encouraging to me and my family, and I appreciate it. I'll never forget it. I have a great long memory the right way. Short memory on the wrong stuff, great memory on the other stuff. like people who are faithful. And Chris Durso is another guy in the city that is. There's some real people out there. So
Yeah.
the guy that has ministered to you for a long time and does so probably daily, people who are a part of this movement and ministries, he's the real deal. You're a real guy.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
That means a lot. Well, that's one of the things I love about New York City is they know real knows real.
Yes,
And
they
it's
do.
like, man, you can get away with some stuff outside of New York City, but you come in here and they're not having it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a reason why I came from Indiana and like I'm still here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know if you do that. Do you have guest speakers at your church?
Yeah, sometimes.
There was a guy who came through to preach one time at Hillsong, and I had him slated to do a couple. And then after the first one, I was like, I can't. We can't run that thing back, brother. And it's no offense. It's just it's not for our people.
You're right.
And because you find out real quick that whatever you've been doing, like New York has this beautiful thing of it where people they're really genuine and open, and some of the shtick or the whatever you think was working somewhere, it's like, but I just never forget that guy's face. Like, it just can't do it, brother. Like,
Yeah, right.
you know, glad you're here. Appreciate you, but we got to put, what we do here first. And so, New York will, it'll show you colors quick.
It will, straight up. Yeah, we have to be very intentional about who, because it's. And the other thing too is like there's not as much like celebrity Christian culture out here. You know what I mean? So you could have a large crowd at V1 Church, and I'm name dropping. They're like, we don't know who that is, and we don't care. And by the way, can Julie preach again? So my wife is the celebrity of our church, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
But it's so true.
A lot of that stuff is made up culture stuff. Like the whole celebrity vibe in general. You could even say it's just not real.
Yeah.
If someone throws these labels around, okay, but on the streets, real life, outside of whatever screen you're watching, it's a different world.
Yeah.
So I've never really given a lot of stock to that stuff, and we
Same.
obviously got hit with some of that stuff, but we always just used to say whatever. We don't have a lot of time. To be fishing around in some of these labels, because it's when you do a church in New York, it's different.
Well, you were always the guy too, and you still are. But I just heard so many stories of you ministering to people who have no idea who you are, and and I was telling you this earlier, but it's just like one of your primary giftings is an evangelist. Dramatic stories that you had here in the streets, and what I loved is like anybody can have the music playing behind them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and you set the atmosphere, and it's like. It's funny because one of the ways that I've sharpened myself out here is like try something that worked on a stage in the streets.
Yeah.
And how many times I've gotten laughed at, cussed out. They don't care who I am. And it's funny because I walk away from those situations thinking this made me healthier because you when you're in the echo chamber and you drop